Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to learn something about the date object. Now in the previous tutorial we have used math objects and we have learned where the math objects are used, and we have also created a simple program which is used to calculate the square root of a number by using the math objects. Now similar to the math objects, a date object is also present in JavaScript, which is used in order to calculate the date and the present time. Now while making some real-time websites, we are always going to need the real time so that we could synchronize some things. So in this tutorial what we are going to do is that we are going to create a simple clock which is used to track the hours, minutes and seconds, and then we are going to display out the clock so that it displays the time and it is going to update the time for us. Now before creating this tutorial, or before starting this tutorial, before jumping right into creating a clock, we are going to talk something about the set interval function, which is used in order to let's say set an interval, and after some interval it is going to repeat some things. So if you don't understand what the set interval function is, let's take an example. So now let's go ahead into the body tag and let's use the set interval function to, let's say, to print something. So in order to do that, we initially create a function. So let's say we name the function as ABC. So let's type function ABC. So now we are going to just write this function just for the sake of understanding the set interval function. So we use document.write and just display out some things like, let's say this function says hello. So we type hello, and once we have this function in place, we move on to the next function, which is set interval function. So in order to use the set interval function, we type set and then give a capital I and just type interval. So and then give a parentheses, and in this parentheses we are going to have two parameters. Now the first parameter is the function which we want to call. So in this case, as we want to call the function ABC, so we specify ABC and give parentheses after it, and the next parameter which we want to specify for this is going to be the time interval. So this time interval is nothing but it is basically specifying the amount of delay which you want to create before executing this function. So for example, if you want to create a delay of 2 seconds, you simply type in 2000, and that is because the time here is expressed in milliseconds. So if you want to have 2 seconds of delay, you just type in 2000. So once we are done with this, we end the statement by using a semicolon. So now once we have these things in place, we go ahead and open up this in a browser, and as you could see, it is going to wait for 2 seconds and pop up the hello, and this is going to continue for infinite time until we close the window. So it is basically popping up hello right after 2 seconds. Now if you were to introduce a delay of 3000 milliseconds, it would have stopped for 3 seconds and then popped up one more hello. So that was a basic understanding of how the set interval function is used to introduce a delay and to call a function again and again after the amount of delay which we have specified. Now let's go ahead and create an actual clock. So in order to do that, we create a new function and let's name the function as print time. So this function right here is going to print some time for us. Now once we have this function with us, the next thing which we need to do is we need to use the date object in order to access the time. So in order to create a date object, we type var, then we specify now. So now is basically going to store the date object's instance. So we type var now equals new date. So we have successfully created a date object, and now we are going to use the date object in order to get the hours, minutes and seconds. Now in order to access hours from the date object, we are going to use the get hours method which is present in the date object. So in order to access the hours, we type now dot get hours. Make sure that you type the H in capital and then end it with a parentheses and a semicolon. Now as you want to store this into some variable, we type var hours now dot get hours. Now we are going to do the same for minutes and seconds. So we create a new variable for minutes. So let's take the variable as mins equals now dot get minutes. So this is going to give the minutes for us, and then the final variable for seconds. So let's say sec. So where sec equals now dot get seconds. So now once we have these things in place with us, the next thing which we do is we use the document.write in order to display out the time. So we type document dot write, and then initially we display the hours. So we go ahead and type hours, then give a plus sign. Then in the double quotes we specify the colon as a separator between hours and minutes. So after this we give two plus signs, and in between this we type the minutes. So this is minutes. Then again we use double quotes in order to specify a separator, and then give a plus sign to just finally print out the seconds. So we type sec. Now we also add a /br in order to give a break. So we type /br, and also make sure that you have a plus sign after second. Now once we are done with this function definition, we go ahead and call the function by using the set interval function. So we type set interval, and in the parameters we need to specify the function name, which is print time, then give parentheses, and after it we want to specify the delay, which is we want to refresh the clock after each second. So we type the time interval to be 100 milliseconds, which comes out to be 1 second. Now once we have this code with us, we simply execute it on the browser, and as you could see, the time popped up and it is getting refreshed each and every second, and we are getting an updated time. So that's how you create a basic clock by using JavaScript, by using the date objects. So basically date object is going to contain some methods which are used in order to access the hours, minutes and seconds. So we are once again going to revise what we have done in this tutorial. So initially we have learnt about the set interval method or the set interval function. So the set interval function is basically used in order to call a function from time to time, and so the first parameter of the set interval function is nothing but the function name, that is the function which we want to call, and the second parameter consists of the time delay which we want to introduce between the function calls. So you also need to take a note that the time which is specified is present in milliseconds. So for example, if you want to take the time duration to be 2 seconds, so you make sure that you specify 2000 in the parameter. Now the next thing which we did is, in order to create a clock, we have used, or rather we have created a date object by typing var now equals new date. Then we are having hours, minutes and seconds of the clock. So in order to access the hours, minutes and seconds, we have used the date object, which is now, and then we have used the method like dot hours to get hours, dot minutes to get minutes, and dot get seconds to get the seconds. So once we have these things with us, we have simply used document.write in order to print them out in a proper format. Now finally, in order to call the function, we have used the set interval function, and we have specified the delay like delay to be 1 second. So that's how you create a basic clock by using the date object, and I hope you understood this tutorial. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.